Well. Changes are afoot. You are listening to the Let's Not Do This podcast on Thursday, October 17th, the year of our Lord, 2024. You got the big O, Leon Oliver, sitting alongside two of the three unwise men. Sitting below me here, a man who's usually below men, one Chris Green. How are you, sir?
I don't know how to feel right now. And based off of things that I've heard, I am not going to be happy tomorrow.
Yeah, well, when I get my paycheck, I feel happy. When you get yours, not so much. And the man to my left here, who probably is pretty happy and kind of smug looking right now. What's Scotty Too Hottie? How are you, sir?
Whatever. I don't care about your coach. That boring offense. It's not like I was watching the games anyways.
All right, well, burying the lead here. Virginia basketball, big changes in Charlottesville. The big announcement, news coming out originally, Jeff Goodman, field of 68, broke a few hours ago that Tony Bennett is retiring as head coach of the University of Virginia. Shocking news, actually, across the college basketball landscape. We're going to break that down, the ins and outs of that, what everything's going to happen. Virginia has scheduled the press conference for tomorrow at John Paul Jones Arena at 11 a.m. there. And I'm sure there'll be lots of questions across from UVA media, especially given the timing, as the Cavaliers are about 20 days out from the start of the college basketball season, taking on the Camels of Campbell University there in their season opener. But guys, just before we dive into the meat and potatoes of this, your initial thoughts. Chris, I'll start with you. You're our resident Virginia fan. I think I was probably the first one to send that to you, the tweet. When you saw that come across and saw Tony Bennett hanging up his whistle in Charlottesville, what was your initial reaction?
I was worried, for one, because he's not the type of guy that would just spring this. 3 weeks before the start of the year, I don't know. I was sitting in my car after I went grocery shopping, saw it, and sat for another 15 minutes trying to figure out what the fuck was happening. Probably, I guess we would call him the greatest coach in UVA history for bringing us the championship. If not, very close second to Terry Holland. Pretty much made UVA a cream of the crop destination, or at least contender every year in and out in the ACC. I don't know. It's bittersweet. The guy's offense was dog shit, as Scotty alluded to. Very frustrating at times, but he fucking won. And we expected him to be there for 20, 25 years. We thought he'd be our version of Coach K, I think. And it's out of nowhere, out of left field. So
I'm glad you mentioned the Coach K aspect. I want to kind of drill down on that a little bit later. Before I give my thoughts on that, Scotty, you're our resident Virginia Tech fan. Obviously, Virginia Tech has actually played pretty well, especially the last few years against Virginia and Tony Bennett. Just your thoughts there. Maybe a little bit of a sigh of relief seeing the change of the guard there in Charlottesville.
Yes and no. We're always good to drop 60 points. So if you can do that, you can beat UVA and Tony Bennett. But overall, I'm glad to see him as a Hokie fan. I'm glad to see him gone, but I wish he would have quit at the beginning of last year. So maybe they could have lost some of their recruiting class and had some people transfer out. Because now it's like, I don't think I think he had this pretty much planned. I think maybe he wasn't 100% that he was going to leave, but I'm sure he let some guys know, hey, be ready. I might not be back. But I think he did this just so they wouldn't lose all those transfers, which good on him. He seems like a great guy, even if he has a boring offense. And I hate the team he coaches, but I mean, yeah, the one thing that does worry me now is like if whoever takes over keeps that same defense, but then adds some offense, now all of a sudden it's like, hey, maybe guys actually want to go here that can make a 3-pointer every now and then. So from that standpoint, I'm not sure how to feel about it, but yeah, overall, obviously, yeah, get out of here. Like that graphic had 3-time National Coach of the Year. That's kind of ridiculous to think about. All those with UVA. He's been there since 07.
Yeah.
No, the
one was at Washington.
Was at Washington State.
Was
Okay.
07.
Clay Thompson.
Yeah, he took over Virginia. I want to say it was around 2009-ish. I want to say, but I'm glad you brought that up. You look at Tony now stepping aside. We've seen a really big shift in the ACC over the last couple of years. When you see Coach K and Roy Williams go back to back, and then Tony is kind of left as Tony. I know this is going to be kind of a weird analogy. Tony Bennett reminds me of JFK a little bit, in the fact that we always picture him as like this young guy. He's aged, like the hair's no longer black. He's got the white hair now, but he still comes across as like a young guy. I remember when he first took the job in Charlottesville, I was working there. I was in the media there, but you still picture it kind of hits you like, yeah, he's been there a long time. He was the elder statesman of the ACC. Crazy enough, with all the turnover in this league, now with him gone, I think it actually might be Kevin Keats at NC State, which is fucking wild to think about. But when you look at the ACC as a whole, this is a big loss in terms of the stature for the league. And also Jim Boeheim, too, was in this league. He retired. So you lose Kay, you lose Roy, you lose Boeheim, you lose Tony, these stalwarts of the game, these highly respected coaches, these national championship winning coaches. Now all these guys are gone. And the timing of this, I think, is actually very Tony Bennett, because I don't think he would want the Coach K farewell tour kind of thing. I don't think he wants that. And you look at the changing landscape of college basketball, and I think everyone kind of points to Jay Wright and how he stepped aside at Villanova. And I think is Scotty alive? Is he dead?
Yeah, I'm here.
I don't know. Okay. You look at Jay Wright and how he stepped aside at Villanova. The game has changed. And I look at Tony Bennett and I see a little bit of Jay Wright in him. I don't want to do the NIL. I don't like the game is just different. It's not that he doesn't want players getting paid, but just there's no guardrails on it right now. It's the wild, wild west. And it's more exhausting than ever before. Not only do you have to recruit these guys, then you got to get them money. Then you got to make sure that they come back every single year. You're re-recruiting your own roster. And you look at the style of play that Tony's teams excel in. And Chris, I mean, come on. Like, look at the 19 team that won the national championship. It's a veteran-laden team. Tony's system works best when you have 3-4-year guys there ready to go. And we got a comment here saying, hey, no one knew in advance. Yeah, I don't think anyone knew outside of him. And I don't know if it was something that happened recently, an epiphany, maybe going through ACC Media Day and going through that car wash. And the season's about to come up and like, do I want to do this again? Because when you start having that thought of, do I want to go through this again? Do I have it in me to go through this again? That's when it's time to step away. And I think we're going to get the answers tomorrow. We'll hear it straight from the horse's mouth, but I think it leads to a bigger conversation about burnout in coaching, because I don't think it's any surprise. I don't think it's any anomaly that we've seen like these guys leave over the last couple of years, these stalwarts of the game, as the game has changed. And I don't know what basketball needs to do to address that, but I think we have a problem here when we're losing our best coaches.
The Jay Wright's the only comp because they're similar in age. The other guys were old as dirt. So
that is true. That is true. And Boeheim's teams were not the Syracuse that, your older brother
correct.
knew,
Yeah. But I mean, and he's had his issues. I mean, he had a fainting spell on the sideline one time, and so I don't know if any of that has anything to do with it. We'll find out, like you said, we'll find something out tomorrow. I don't know if we're gonna get the whole truth and nothing but the truth, but I definitely am going to be watching that at my job and not doing my job tomorrow while that's on.
Wait,
So
you
I
have a
can
job?
figure out what. It's surprising. I know.
Jeez.
You can't tell by any of my material possessions because I can't afford to buy things. So
Well, I'm glad I'm glad you brought that up because a lot of people have speculated when these sort of things happen and they happen out of the blue. I think I probably got 5, 6, 7 texts. Oh my God, I hope he's okay. Hope the family's okay. From my sources that it's been a while since I've been in that bubble. From my sources that I've been able to contact, this isn't health related. We'll find out more answers tomorrow. I got a tweet coming in here right now, a little bit earlier. Matt Norlander, I think he's with CBS Sports still, but he says the source tells him Tony's retirement isn't anything health related. He's been told he still wants to be involved in college athletics, wants to work through solutions to ease some of the issues that led to his retirement decision. So this kind of brings back to me of it's the current state of the game, and
Right.
maybe it's the burnout cycle, maybe it's the NIL, it's the transfer portal, it's all of that stuff. And I don't think Jay Wright had a problem with a lot of that stuff either, but it's unregulated right now. It's the wild
Right.
west. It's free agency every single year, and it's totally different. So it's good to see. It's not nothing health. It's not nothing scandal wise. It's the state of the game, Scotty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had sent y'all a tweet earlier. I forget who it was from now, but somebody had asked Tony Bennett and brought up Jay Wright, and then Tony Bennett went on and said, yeah, basically, like there needs to be regulations, and basically he didn't know if he could wait the 3 to 5 years it might take for those regulations to be put in place. So I guess that was kind of a precursor of what was to come.
Yeah, I think that was
you got college. You have colleges hiring general managers now. That's what Woj is doing now. So that I don't know what burden that takes off of a head coach as far as recruiting and NIL stuff, but ACC better buck up and get on that trend because got to figure something out.
Jeff Borzello. I think this might be the tweet that you had sent earlier, Scotty.
Yep.
Jeff Borzello had mentioned on Twitter that he had talked to Tony last week. Why so many people thought he could be the next Jay Wright and suddenly retire. He said verbatim, quote, "I got to call Jay Wright and see what he says, right? I have always have said that when you're doing this, you're in this profession, whether you agree how it's going or not, you have to be true to yourself and really look at it and say, who am I? Can I operate how I want? And can it be successful enough?" And you see the rest of the tweet there. But yeah, so I mean, it only kind of looks like he's having those thoughts at that point right then. And we'll find out more tomorrow. Maybe there was a phone call to Jay Wright. And maybe, hey, I'm living life. I'm on CBS. I'm doing TV. Things are different now. Maybe that was the icing on the cake there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's strange timing to me, but as far as I know, all the recruits are still there as of right now. We'll see what happens tomorrow.
Yeah, where are they going to go now?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. It opens a 30-day window, I believe it is, where the recruits can go. And I was listening to my former colleague, Luke Neer, on WINA, Best Seat in the House in Charlottesville there. And I was listening to Luke, and he brought up a good point of it's so late in the game right now. Even if you wanted to go somewhere, where can you go and get the NIL that you may have gotten already at Virginia? Where can you go and get that same opportunity? Because a lot of those funds have been spent. Program have a certain amount of what they're going to do, and now you come back to the boosters, unless it's the best player in the country or something, you're not going to go and open up more money 20 days out. And then how does that guy fit into your system? It's late in the game,
Yeah, and not only that, then you have to kick somebody else off. Yeah, roster's already set. Yeah.
Yeah, not every team has Scotty at the end of the bench there. Kind of like in Hoosiers. What was that kid, Ollie, at the end of the bench, shooting the underhanded free throws? Scotty, you are our Ollie. Well, actually, you're more talented than Chris. But just in size, you're our Ollie. So if we can land the bigger fish,
Well,
You're a
like
little
you might
fella.
be the boot. Yeah.
if we're talking about basketball talent, then you're definitely our Ollie,
Hey, I'm
and
like a
and that's not racist.
I'm like a fat Khalid, a fatter Khalid Elamine. Okay, leave me alone. But no, I mean, I think we're gonna get a lot of answers tomorrow. I think one thing I want to see is like, was there a conversation with whatever assistant takes over? My initial thought process when this happened was it's going to be Jason Williford. It's going to be Jason Williford. I totally forgot that Ron Sanchez was back in Virginia. Had some people that I know that are closer to the program text me and say, no, he's going to take over. Ron Sanchez didn't necessarily light the world on fire at Charlotte, but he's a Tony guy. He's kind of come up under him. He was a longtime assistant there. He's the associate head coach there. Probably not a guy that if he leaves after that embarrassment against Colorado State in the NCAA tournament, if he bows out after, then probably not a guy that's going to be on Carla Williams' radar screen. I don't know how Carla Williams feels about him. I don't know how Carla Williams feels about anything. I wasn't covering that program by the time she took over. But probably not a guy. I imagine that Virginia job comes open after they lose in the tournament. There's going to be a big search. You're going to hear some big names start to come up. I mean, because let's face it, you got the academics, you got the location, you got the conference, you got the building. There's no reason why that, it should not consistently be a top 10, top 15 program. So maybe this is his way of, kind of like Dean Smith. He stepped aside and Bill Guthridge got his chance. And of course, they ran him out on a rail. And then you got Matt Doherty. And then that was a disaster. And then that led to old Roy Williams. So we'll see. But I mean, we've seen guys step aside like this before. It didn't necessarily work out for Villanova with that coaching change, but we'll see what happens in Charlottesville.
Yeah, I was wishfully thinking that we would get UVA legend, alumni, assistant coach Jason Williford as the interim to prove himself and eventually take over. I know for a fact that he has a different philosophy as far as things go, especially on the offensive end. And if Ron's just going to be a clone of Tony, but probably a less effective clone, I'm not sure how this is going to go. I don't know. I'm hoping for the best, but Tony's leaving the keys with his guy.
Yeah.
But I think the greater fan base, if we're going to turn the page, let's turn the fucking page. Let's not keep half the page open.
Well, I'm glad you brought that point up. The thing is, it's going to look. Hey, Virginia fans, I don't want to distress you. Anybody that wanted to change, I know there were people over the last few years that were calling for Tony's job, which we'll get to that a little bit later. Yeah. This team is going to look a lot similar just from I'm not talking about talent and all that stuff. I haven't followed the recruiting that much. I haven't done my college basketball deep dive yet. I'm still drinking away my NC State football pain this year, but. From a schematic standpoint, it's going to look the same. A, if it's going to be Sanchez, he's a Tony guy. B, we're 20 days out. It's too late. The hay's in the barn. We've already had. Well, I don't even know what they call it. It's not Midnight Madness to Charlottesville.
The blue and white game.
Whatever. Blue and white game. Yeah, that's already happened. The time to change is gone now. It's dress rehearsal's done. It's time to get out there and roll the ball out and let's play. So this is going to be at least a 1-year audition for whoever gets this job, which I imagine is going to be Sanchez. Hey, I've given you these pieces. We've laid this foundation of a program. We have our pillars. What can you do? Can you take it and run? This is your audition.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know if they're going to finish top 5 in the league this year now, but we'll see.
Scotty, any other thoughts you have on this?
No, you got pretty much covered everything. I'll watch y'all continue to be in pain over this for a little bit. It'll be fun.
Well, I think
I'm glad it sounds like he's okay. That's why I was refraining from making jokes at first.
It's sad our state of society too, though, because half the texts I got were like, "Oh, I hope everything's okay with him and his family," blah blah blah. Which, of course, whenever this happens, soon. Everyone always thinks that, But then on the second part of that, the other thing was, oh my God, tech still sucks. Well, that's true. I mean, do they have a basketball court in Blacksburg, or do they just put like a cow pasture down in the? I don't know.
UVA
But,
loses on it like every year, so yes, we have a basketball court.
There you go. So the other half of the responses that I got was, oh my Lord, what sort of scandals happened? And let me tell you something. I don't know the guy other than working with the guy. It's been a long time, If anyone in America was going to have a scandal, it ain't going to be him. You know what I mean? Like there's certain people that are just good people. Tony Bennett's one of those people. Like him as a basketball guy or not, just the coaching profession got worse today because he's leaving. The ACC got worse today because he's leaving, not just from a basketball standpoint, but from a person standpoint. He's always been really gracious with the media, always had, made time, had a kind word behind the scenes. I'll actually let you know my first interaction personally, one-on-one with Tony Bennett. I was in the media in Charlottesville, but I also had a job working in the athletic department too, kind of maybe a little conflict of interest, but hey, both sides were cool. I knew my athletic stuff and I knew my radio stuff. I kept those worlds sacred. What I learned over here, I didn't bring over there and vice versa. Anyway, it was after, I want to say it was like a soccer game or something like that. We were in the bowels of the basketball arena where the control room is that at that time controlled all the video boards for baseball and basketball and all that stuff, soccer, all those things. I'm leaving out of there with a colleague of mine. It's probably 11:30 at night. We're the last two people in this building, or so we thought. We turned the corner to go up the elevator by the academic center. Who do I run into but Tony and Dick Bennett? And this is shortly after he got the job. And he turns to me and goes, hey, can you get me in here? And he's pointing to the academic center. I go, Coach, my swipe I know doesn't work in there. And if you can't get in there, I damn sure can't get in there. And so, he had a good little chuckle, and I wished him well for the rest of the night. But that was my first interaction with him, and just kind of a brief thing, and it wasn't in a media capacity. Just I got done working the game, and he had a little chuckle about it. But that's Tony Bennett, you know what I mean? Like he's just a light guy, kind of a very nice, kind of humble guy, and I think this is par for the course for him on how he wanted to go out. I mean, like let's face it, Coach K is a egomaniacal maniac guy. He wanted that retirement tour. He loved it. Tony's not that kind of guy. We'll see. Let me ask you this, guys. Tony Bennett leaves. What do you think this means for Virginia basketball going forward? You see where Virginia, because listen, I remember when he took this job over under Dave Lato. Dave Lato tried a different approach, tried to go out and get the big time players. I think we all remember Renardo Sidney was the guy that they all wanted to get. I think he ended up going to Mississippi State. They got the new arena and all that stuff, the bells and whistles. They're going to go out and get McDonald's All-Americans. Just never happened under Dave Lato. And they were so bad at periods under Lato, they couldn't inbound the basketball consistently, which is kind of an important thing. Those little small things like that, fundamentals cleaned up real quick under Tony. But where do you see Virginia going at this point? Because you go back and look at the history. You had the ACC title in like 76, drop off, and you had that great run through the 80s with the 3 Final Fours and Terry Holland and all that stuff. It's a little bit of a drop off. Then you get to Jeff Jones in the early mid to early 90s. You get to 95 Elite 8 team and Corey Alexander and Williford and all that stuff. Great run through there. Then we see Gillen come in. We see some ups and downs there. Never really took off under him. If you look at this program, there's some periods, but there's not a lot of prolonged success. This may be the best prolonged success period Virginia's had in 30 years. Chris, do you think it keeps up?
I don't know. I think shut up, Scotty. I think
I love this.
Which, by the way, I just want to point out real quick, Cheerwine and this Benchmark Foolproof Bourbon is a lovely combination.
I'm drinking Hardywood Richmond Lager with lime because I wanted something light today.
Well, I'm the trashiest person on here today. Look at this.
It's blurred out, but I got some Oktoberfest.
Well, there we go. Huh? Look at me. I'm the trashy one today. Okay. Go on.
Yeah, anything with Cheerwine. But yeah, I don't know. I think I'm trying to put into words how I felt the last couple of years. It's been very frustrating being a UVA fan the last few years. We've underachieved. The offense has been absolutely terrible. I think if there's a chance to switch some things up, he mentioned things changing a little bit on offense at media this couple weeks ago or whatever it was. I don't know. I think they need to implement a new offense. I think Sanchez is going to be on a very short leash. And if the AD is smart, Malcolm Brogdon's about to retire from injuries, I'm sure, soon. Bring his ass in. He's a smart basketball guy. He's a smart guy in general.
Yeah, we're gonna
close.
So that's not gonna happen.
Desperate already.
It's not. But yeah, I
2 hours in, you're already desperate.
I don't trust Sanchez. He was terrible. If they're not going to give it to Williford, bring Richie McKay back. He's doing great things at Liberty. Come on. Something.
Be interested to see if they try to stay in the Virginia family, I guess, so to speak, or if they go outside. Because Tony was completely off the radar. And outside of that, what was it? I think it was Wally Walker. It was either Wally Walker or Barry Parkhill, one of the two. That was very instrumental. They were in Seattle. They had some business connections there in the West Coast, and was very instrumental in getting in contact with Washington State at the time too. In the Virginia Athletic Department as a whole, the associate AD there, John Oliver, was a Washington State guy. There was a lot of other people behind the scenes in the athletic department at that time that was connected to Washington State. So we'll see what happens there, if they decide to go outside the family or if there's someone else off the radar screen.
It's not the easiest place to coach because of the academics. And Tony Bennett did a great job with what he could do. But we'll see what happens.
Before we transition off of this topic, I did want to mention this. You mentioned I know you were frustrated over the last couple of years. Some of the Virginia fans frustrated over the last couple of years. But, you look at the program, and I keep thinking about, last year when I forget who it was, but NC State beat someone in football, and Dave Dorn had that press conference where he classically said, "Shit, be happy, we won." And I think Virginia has lost a little bit of that. And hey, that says something about Tony raising those expectations to that point. Because I remember where that program was when he took over, and you watch the ascension of that program culminating with the national championship. And then after that, it was almost a point of complacency. You expect to win. And Virginia, I don't know if you've necessarily earned that yet in your program history. Whereas, Duke and Carolina, Kansas, Kentucky, that's something different. But especially the way Tony wants to do it, there's going to be ebb and flows. I compare Virginia basketball to Wake Forest football. Wake isn't playing the same game from an NIL. I mean, Virginia has more money than Wake, but with academics and how they want to do things and redshirting guys, they're doing something completely different in Winston-Salem in football than what you're seeing going on in Miami in football. Tony Bennett's doing something different than what you're seeing in Durham or Chapel Hill. It's a little bit closer to it, but it's still different. So we'll see what happens, like where they go from where they go from here. I don't know. I'm going to pour one out for him though, because he was a hell of a coach. And it'll be interesting. And this I will say, if there's so much talk about college football and if the power league is going to break away, and will there be a college football like czar or something like that? If there ever was, where the power leagues broke away, and let's say basketball was a part of that too, if there ever was someone you wanted to be a commissioner of college basketball, he's got to be in that conversation, especially if he wants to stay in the athletic circle, which seems like he does, and have a positive impact on the game. That guy would be phenomenal as like a college basketball czar.
Yeah. Real quick, I think this year is very important for y'all. you'll need to be better than last year at least. If you don't make the NCAA tournament, I can see a lot of guys jumping ship.
Oh, for sure. I mean, this roster is almost completely turned over, and a lot of people are going to be graduating after this year anyways. So I don't know. We'll see.
All right. Well, transitioning, which Chris knows a lot about, transitioning away from Tony Bennett going to football, our lead that we were going into this evening before, all this changed about 2-3 hours ago. Davante Adams is a New York football Jet joining Aaron Rodgers there. I had the original graphic, which, by the way, I think I did a good job on that graphic. I don't have it in front of me, but you had the Wisconsin dairy farm in the background. But there were the Packers, and you had the New York skyline back there. I thought I did a good job. Didn't get no love.
I guess we'll
I don't remember what it looked like. It was unforgettable. It was forgettable.
Well, anyway, so we'll see those guys. Davante's hamstring has magically healed. All of a sudden, maybe they got some of that shit from the soccer staff that you spray on.
The spray.
Yeah, you could have put
Conor McGregor stuff.
Yeah, you could have put JFK's brain back together with that spray that they spray on you in soccer. I mean, like literally, guys are rolling around like they got run over by that tank in Tiananmen Square. And you spray that shit on them, and then all of a sudden, hey, they just pop up. But Davante's healthy
already.
Yeah, I was about to. When you mentioned Tony being like JFK, I was thinking, thank God he doesn't have to go to SMU this year.
Oh, Jesus Christ! But no, we immortalize him as like a young guy, and people forget like if JFK was still alive, he'd be an old geezer right now. But he's like, what's that Star Wars loser stuff y'all watch when they get trapped in the stuff and they're
I don't
frozen?
watch that.
I
have no idea what we're talking about.
Both of y'all are Star Wars dorks. I know you are.
I don't watch. I've never watched. I've watched maybe one Star Wars.
I don't know.
I've watched Star Wars. I like
carbonite or something they get encased in. Yeah,
sounds like you know.
Well, I've been around enough Star Wars dorks, that I don't know. I've seen a woman naked. I don't watch Star Wars. But anyway, like that's we have this mental image of him, and that. Yeah. So that's where I was going with that. Excuse me. I'm dying here. Ebola, probably.
No scandals versus a lot of scandals. But I digress.
Yeah, but all right. So Davante, Aaron, reunited. We'll see these guys back on the field on Sunday Night Football as the New York Football Jets go to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers. And have you guys been following this? That Russell Wilson apparently is taking snaps with the ones this week. He will be active. He probably is going to start, so he actually will have a uniform and pads on for a reason, rather than cosplaying as a backup quarterback a couple weeks ago. Chris, I know you are probably the most anti-Aaron Rodgers person outside of Joe Ovius in the world. Your thoughts? Will this work? Will this save the Jets season?
It's not going to save their season because he's just another fucking wide receiver. The wide receivers don't win you games. They can lose you games, but they don't win you games.
Mike Williams.
I didn't even watch the game, but I heard about it. But yeah, there's a reason he left in the first place. He could have re-signed with Green Bay when Aaron was there. He left because something wasn't going right between him and Aaron. And now they're magically butt buddies again. It's weird. Davante Adams is a very good wide receiver. I don't think he's better than Garrett Wilson at this stage in his career. I think Garrett Wilson should be the guy that's getting all the balls thrown to him. But he keeps chucking it to Alan fucking Lazard, who's 75 years old.
Well, I'll bring this point up. I think Garrett draws a lot of attention, and now you have a guy like Davante there that takes some of that attention away, and ultimately that's going to open up more opportunities for Allen too. Plus Conklin at tight end, I think it's only going to help that passing attack more. The problem
what would help the passing attack the most if they gave the fucking ball to Breece Hall.
and Braylon Hunt Allen. Yeah, just run the ball a little bit more. That'll definitely help out. But they've had issues with that. Scotty, what do you think? Is this going to save the season? Is this going to turn things around in the Big Apple?
No. I mean, I guess it depends on what you are saying saving the season means. Do they
Did they get to
sneak
the
in the
playoffs?
playoffs?
Yeah.
I would say no, but I mean, it puts them there as contenders. They might sneak in. It might make them a little better, but it's not their answer. Their offensive line isn't great. Aaron Rodgers hasn't looked great to me. If guys get open right away or he gets protection, he's going to be fine. But I just don't. He's not the same player. We don't know if he's going to stay healthy. Maybe they sneak into the playoffs this year, so maybe it helps them a little this year. But yeah, in the long term, I think it's really going to hurt them. I think I can see this fracturing the relationship with Garrett Wilson. See him going somewhere else whenever his contract is up. Yeah, like I said, it does make them better, but I don't think it really moves the needle that much.
Aaron's taking a lot of flack, especially I think I saw Ryan Fitzpatrick. I think Boomer Esiason, I think, criticized him a little bit in the media too for speaking out after the game and kind of tossing Mike Williams under the bus there. I think Mike Williams didn't practice the other day, so I think his days as a Jet are probably over. I'm sure he'll be moved before the deadline or just cut one of the two. But hey, if you're Woody Johnson, if you're the Jets, you got to do something. I mean, you're sitting here, you got this quarterback who you looked at yourself like you were one piece away, and you brought this guy in. Now you give him, comfort targets like Allen Lazard and stuff. You're bringing in guys he's familiar with, and it's just not working. And part of it's the offensive line, and it's hard to make a change and bring in someone and address the offensive line right now in the middle of the season. But if you can bring in another weapon that'll help him get rid of the ball, and maybe a guy that's going to draw more attention will help him get the ball out a little bit quicker, and a guy that, hey, I mean, they played together so long, they're speaking the same language, get that back going again. I think you got to do something if you're the Jets. So I give them credit. And apparently there's reports that Buffalo was trying to make a move for Davante before they ended up getting Amari Cooper. So you got to do something. I mean, you're sitting there at 2-4 now. If they had won last week, you'd be at 3-3, and you're looking at life a little bit better. You're only a game behind Buffalo. They're not out of this. So there's still a lot of time to turn it around. I applaud them for taking a swing. One thing you can't say is that they're not giving them every chance to be successful. They're giving them what he wants. Now it's up for those guys to go out and do it. They're buying the groceries. You guys got to go cook it now.
Yeah, you mentioned the Bills. I think them getting Amari Cooper is actually a way better pickup than the Davante Adams trade. Amari Cooper is talented as fuck. He single-handedly won me a playoff game last year in our fantasy league. He can go off for 200 yards any day, multiple touchdowns, throw it over the top. He's got the second most touchdowns of over 29 yards, only behind Tyreek Hill in the last, 4 or 5 years, I think. And he's not going to bitch and moan like Stephon Diggs did about not getting the ball. So Josh Allen has a number one receiver again, and he's not going to make him feel bad if he doesn't throw him the ball. So Bills got a lot better. Locker room still intact, and they have a 2-game lead on the division. So they're going to run away with it.
Scotty?
Yeah, and they're paying Amari Cooper like 10% of what Davante Adams
Right.
paid. So yeah, Amari Cooper is a much better deal. But Aaron Rodgers wants his guys. I'm sure Jordy Nelson will be back in a couple of weeks probably. Who else? Was Greg Jennings still there when Aaron Rodgers took over?
They are
Greg
not.
Jennings,
they are not
friends with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, they are not down. Yeah, but no, I'm glad you brought it up. The salary cap, yeah, it's a much better cap deal. But as the Rams have proved, during their march to the Super Bowl, salary cap doesn't matter. You can get creative. Correct. You can play with this stuff. Salary cap math is. I feel like
matters.
If you just get a bunch of MIT guys, I don't think they can do what these GMs are doing, moving money.
It matters. It matters for Kansas City because they're a dynasty. Everybody else, it doesn't matter. They just want to win one.
Yeah. Hey, which I applaud. Hey, go in, and especially if you're a team like the Jets. I mean, you have the one title. What was it, 1969? I mean, go in.
Nice.
Yeah, and yeah, nice. And you're literally always on the back page to the Giants. I mean, like you gotta make a
Back
splash,
page.
especially. Well,
What are
Chris
you
knows
doing on
about that.
Backpage?
I was looking for a muffler. I know where you're
Is
going
that
with
what you
that.
call them now?
Yeah. But no, I mean, literally, you got to make a splash there in that city. So I don't know. We'll see. Well, let's transition to some football picks here. Thursday night game coming up. If I can find my little transition here for our betting picks as I pad and vamp and talk for no reason. Oh, by the way, you can follow us right here on this very
There it
platform
is.
Saturday morning, 9 a.m. on the Doing Lines podcast, where we'll break down college football and NFL picks for the weekend. Make sure to check us out there and be a friend, tell a friend, like, subscribe, hit that little subscribe button right down. I can't get my fingers right. At the bottom right, down there. Down there is a little button. Hit that little bell. Subscribe. We need that. But let's go and do some picks here. I really just got to turn on that like mirror camera thing or turn it off. One or two.
Yeah, didn't we just see a clip of a politician that couldn't figure out how to do that?
Yeah. Me and JD Vance, man. Me and JD Vance. Which, by the way, I feel like
Birds of a feather.
I feel like we could close down a bar. I feel like he'd be a good guy to drink with. You know what I mean? I don't know.
No, I don't.
I'm not giving opinions on any politicians.
I'm just
here.
saying, of the four people on the 2 tickets, I think I could probably drink the best with him out. I don't know how many beers.
I'll take the
Walls-
football coach.
Well,
I
Walls
would say
probably,
you. I would say you. Yes.
yeah.
I don't know. I think all 4 of them in their own way would be fun to drink with.
Walls could put some beers.
I don't think Trump drinks.
Trump doesn't drink. Which, by the way, if he did. Oh my
Insane.
God, that would be be just amazing.
That's the only thing that's keeping him alive. Probably.
Could you imagine that guy with a couple of Heinekens in him? Oh man. Anyway, I digress. Let's get away from that.
Let's
NFL,
not do this.
Yeah, let's not do this. Thursday night football. New Orleans hosting Denver. Broncos lay in 3 points as they head to New Orleans. Over under is 37.5. This is tonight. I keep forgetting tonight's Thursday. That's what happens when you work one day a week like I do. So 8:15 coming up.
We did the show on Wednesday last week, so
That's very true. Up is down, left is right. I don't know. 8:15 Prime Video
screws my week up.
Well, let's let you go ahead and screw this pickup then. So, Scotty, I will start with you. Denver laying the 3 points over under 37.5. What say you?
I kind of like the under. I kind of like the Broncos, but I'm gonna go with our second prop bet of the year.
Oh shit!
Lost the last one, but it's good. I mean, that means I'm due. But I don't know if you know who this person is, but it's a receiver for the New Orleans Saints named Bub Means.
Yes.
Oh.
5th round rookie out of Pitt. He came in after Olave went down last week and got 8 targets, 5 catches, 45 yards. He's probably, because Shaheed's out for the year now, they just announced. So has a good chance to be the number 1 target, at least while Rattler is there. I'm sure they look like they had some good chemistry. They probably worked a lot together in the offseason and practices, being on the second team.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he got those 8 targets last week, had 45 yards. His receiving prop is 35.5 yards. I'm taking the over on that.
Over.
He's got to throw somebody.
Okay.
He's going to be probably a lot of targets to him and Kamara.
Chris, I hand it over to you. Denver laying 3 over under 37.5, or are you going with a prop? Are you going with field goals made?
We are back to shitty football games on Thursday nights. I'm sure Al Michaels is so stoked.
Oh, he's thrilled. He is thrilled.
He might not make it to halftime on this one. Broncos offense sucks. Their defense is really good, but their best corner is out with a concussion. Saints offense was great, and then it died in a plane crash, apparently. Now they got 2 wide receivers out. I'm drunk now. Sorry. I'm going with the under 37.5. The Broncos feel like they should be favored by a touchdown. I don't know what's going on here with this line, so I'm staying away from it. Under 37.5. These offenses are going to be atrocious tonight.
You know,
Yeah, I like that one. Sorry, just real quick. So I think they're scared to. Well, first of all, it's the Broncos, and they're also scared, I think, of making big favorites because the books have been getting killed. Like the underdogs have just been covering. And also last week, the books, I don't know if this is related, but while it's on my brain, the books had one of their worst weeks ever in NFL. The public was making a killing. All the there you go. So most of the favorites hit last week. Almost every over hit last week, which are big public plays usually. So yeah, most of the books had, like, if not their worst, one of their worst weeks ever when it comes to NFL.
Yeah, road favorites in week 6 went 8-0 against the spread there. I'm glad you set that one up for me there, Scotty. Chris, I hate agreeing with you, but I agree with you that this line does feel a little bit weird. It does definitely feel like Denver should be bigger here. I mean, you look at New Orleans, obviously, we know there's no Derek Carr, Spencer Rattler under center. We have no Chris Olave, no Rashid Shaheed. You mentioned Bub Means already. The other top receivers for New Orleans going into this game, Mason Tipton and Cedric Wilson Jr. Doesn't exactly inspire a lot of confidence. And remember when the Saints were 2-0 and scoring, over 40 points a game? Does that feel like 6 years ago? Like, 2-4, the bottom's falling out.
I told y'all it was an anomaly and not going to be the standard.
You know what? You're right on that. And their injury report looks like a CVS receipt right now. I mean, it's just massive. I'm going to take Denver minus the 3 points here, continuing with those road favorites here. And a big reason why I'm doing that is going to be the quarterback, actually, Bo Nix. Matthew Betts from Fantasy Footballers podcast here. You project his current rushing stats for Bo Nix right now over a 17-game season. He's going to have 105 attempts, 510 yards, and about 8.5 touchdowns right now.
How's he going to get the half touchdown?
Well, just projecting it over 17 games.
I get for betting. I get for betting, but if you're projecting, you can't say somebody's going to get a half touchdown.
Well, you do the math and break it down. Well, anywho, he's going to get done with his legs. And I don't think a lot of people are realizing that. It's adding another dimension to Denver's sputtering offense. He's feeling more comfortable. I went back and looked at some tape of him. Actually, I had some downtime this week, and I was thinking about this game. I went and looked. He's stepping up into the pocket. Seems like the game is slowing down for him a little bit more. He's starting to feel a little bit more confident. I'm not saying they're going to go out and score 35 points, but they're going to beat New Orleans by 3. I would probably go and bump that to 7. I like them to go into New Orleans to get the win right now. And I think his legs are going to get him out of some situations and, continue to move the chains down the field. And just another dimension, one more thing to worry about for already beat up New Orleans team. So I'm going to go ahead and take Denver minus the 3 points here.
I'm glad he can run because he can't fucking pass the ball.
I was going to say, I don't think he's that good. Also, you mentioned Surtain being out. That was another reason why I'm on the Bub Means prop tonight.
Okay.
But yeah, Bo Nix is he's looked okay, but I don't think he's a guy that's going to improve much.
He is the next Trent Dilfer.
Whoa.
Well,
Trent Dilfer's got a Super Bowl. So,
very late in his career. And it wasn't because of him.
All right. So the recap.
Does Mel Kiper like Bo Nix?
I don't know. I don't really follow Mel Kiper's projections there.
The whole thing with him and God, who was it? The coach or the owner of the Colts?
Oh, Jim Irsay.
Like, you got Trent Dilfer, send in there and you pick whoever.
Oh yes, I do remember that now. For when good pull. All right. So the recap on this one, I got Denver minus 3. Chris, you're going with
under 37.5.
And Scotty, you got a prop on
Bub Means over 35.5 receiving yards.
All right. So that's Thursday night football. Moving over to college football. Like I said, we'll get to a more a bigger NFL and college football slate on Saturday, but a couple of late week games here tomorrow on college football. Scotty, I will start with you here. If I can move over to your banner bar here. You're going with the number 2 team in the land, the Oregon Ducks, who, by the way, are responsible for a rule change mid-season now in college football. The Ducks laying 28.5, going to West Lafayette, taking on Purdue. Over-under is 60.5. Friday, which is tomorrow, 8 p.m. on Fox. Before we get into that, I thought that was brilliant, by the way, for Dane Lanning. Just brilliant coaching last week to intentionally put 12 men on the field, let the time run off the clock, get the penalty, and then that you'll never get that time back. I thought that was brilliant. And of course, the NCAA has to. He should have said it. He should have owned up to it. He should have. Oh no, I didn't know what happened. I can't believe those guys did it. He should have said it. Yeah. But hey, that's one thing I love about football, especially stuff like that. It's like cat and mouse. I'm smarter than you. I'm gonna put my nuts on the table. Here we are, and he did it. And Ryan Day and Will Howard, which Will Howard, by the way, I think he's still running around unaware of the clock. I mean, that guy's not a freshman. That guy's played a lot of football. You would think in that situation he would have been better. He folded like a cheap suit. It was terrible. But Scotty, I digress. You got the Ducks there going into Purdue. I think they're doing the blackouts too at Purdue. Does that scare you at all on this game? Where are you going?
Sounds like it might scare you.
Yeah, why would it scare me?
I'm just assuming that you looked at this minus 28.5 and thought it was a layup for the Ducks. That was I was assuming. Oh, well.
No, so I was on Purdue. I think if I had to pick a side, it would be Purdue, actually. I was debating between that and the over. I'm going to go with the over here. I started at 58.5. The Sharps bet it up to 62 at one point. And I was coming down to 60.5. Yeah, I think there's just going to be a lot of points in this game. Purdue, their defense is just god-awful. But somehow last week they have a new quarterback come in. I think Hudson Card I don't know if he got benched or if he was hurt. But either way, they have this redshirt freshman comes in. Apparently he's a big-time dual threat that nobody knew about. Ryan Brown, he threw for 3 touchdowns last week. Almost 300 yards, ran for 118 yards, put up 49 points against a good defense in Illinois. So now they get to come home. Oregon's got to travel. They're coming off that big win against Ohio State. And then after this week, they have Michigan and they got Illinois next week and then Michigan after that. So, I mean, there has to be somewhat of a letdown coming up in this game, just naturally. I don't see them getting totally up, but Dylan Gabriel is going to get up for this game, I do believe. So I do think the offense is going to put up a lot of points, but I think Purdue is going to be able to score some points too. Dylan Gabriel put himself back as one of the front runners for the Heisman last week. So yeah, he's going to be trying to get his numbers. And yeah, I think this quarterback probably put a boost of energy into this offense, and he's going to be able to put up enough points to hit this over.
Okay, I don't hate that. I mean, Purdue is just a train wreck, pun intended there. But the least amount of points that Purdue's given up this year? Does anyone know?
No.
It's
if you discount the first game against was it Indiana State, whoever they played, they got a shutout.
Yeah, that was 49-0 a shutout against the mighty Sycamores of Indiana State. Not going to count that. That's FCS. I should have rephrased it. Against FBS competition was 28 when they lost to Nebraska, 28-10.
And that game is the only under against FBS teams that they've had.
Yeah,
the other 4 have gone over.
It's bad. I mean, and this team, somehow, some way, they lost in the OT at Illinois last week, as you said, 50-49. When what was a really exciting game. Look, this isn't your typical Purdue team, though. Usually, a night game for a ranked team, especially a top 5 team at West Lafayette, raises the hair on the back of your neck. It's a little, especially this time of year, as it starts getting cooler. It's a little spooky. I don't see it. I think Oregon is just going to bang the drum all day. Pun intended again with that world's largest drum there in Purdue. They're just going to bang that drum all day. Scotty, I like it. I actually bet this on my card off the show separately. I went with the over on this one too. So I'm in that boat.
Even if Oregon just demolishes them 54-7,
yeah,
you still win.
Yeah, I could easily see this being like a 51-10. I mean 51-10, something like that. Or yeah, I could see them scoring 60. Honestly, if they wanted to, I could see Oregon scoring 60 myself.
If they get up, we've seen them struggle against Idaho and some of the teams they were favored against.
I think Boise State for a little bit there. That's why I think before all of America learned about Ashton Jeanty. But yeah, Chris, what do you think?
I'm not giving opinions on Oregon games anymore. I was wrong again last week. I'm done.
You're done with the Ducks.
I'm done with the Ducks. Fuck the Ducks.
There. All right, there you go. All right, so Chris, no thoughts on that one. Well, let's pull out Scotty's game here and go to your game then, Christopher. You have selected one of my favorite schools, BYU, the Cougars, at home, 13th team in the land, laying 9 points to Oklahoma State over under 52.5, and that is I should say Friday at 10:15 on ESPN. Your thoughts on this one here?
BYU apparently really good at football. I don't know how. I don't know. I don't get it. Oklahoma State, big disappointment so far. BYU has been absolutely steamrolling people. And for that reason, BYU should win by double digits. And that is why I'm going Oklahoma State +9.
I saw that one coming.
Yeah. The old Lee Corso set you up to stab you in the back move there. Okay.
Not so fast, my friend.
Yeah.
Mormons shouldn't be this good at football. Basketball, I get, but football, no. So they're due for a disappointment.
I don't know. At home, I agree with you with being due for a disappointment, but at home and night games, their numbers are just insane compared to the rest of their games. But yeah, I could see Oklahoma State getting a backdoor cover. I don't know about winning a game.
Yeah. I like BYU minus 9 points here. I think if you're going to see a letdown for them, it would be next week because they go on the road to UCF. And that is the week. I think they get a bye actually after that. Then it's the Holy War at Utah, which the way both teams are playing right now, that could be a lot of fun. Well, that game always is a lot of fun, but top of the table at the Big 12 could be up for grabs there. But let's not get ahead of ourselves here. One of the big reasons why BYU is playing so great right now is because of BYU, and that's the quarterback there, Jake Retzlaff.
How is he even eligible at that school?
Well, Chris, you can go wherever you want, regardless of religion there. Game Day did a great piece about him last week. He's actually one of 3 Jewish students at BYU in the whole school.
Interesting. Are they forced to learn about Space Jesus?
I think he does take the Mormon theology classes. I think that they all have to take there, but they're very accepting, he says, of his faith. He's very outward about it. And Jake Retzlaff has been a revelation there, and he likes the name BYU, and they've even got some shirts that they put together there too. So if they win, Chris, I might go on the BYU site. I don't even know if they're selling this to BYU NIL store or something. I don't know, but I might buy you one here.
I'd wear it. I'd fucking wear it.
Yeah,
if they cover and you buy me that shirt, I will wear it.
Okay, there we go. BYU covers. And
let's see what happens if he goes on like a 4-game losing streak. Let's see if they're still open to his religion.
Well, you got to win the Holy War. You can't lose to Utah. You can't lose to Utah. That's got to be the first one there. But before we get there, I think they will take out Oklahoma State. And Mike Gundy, did you guys see the comments where apparently he lost?
What the fuck is wrong with that guy?
That
guy's insane.
He got headbutted by one of his cows, apparently. And I haven't seen the pictures, but I saw it come across my line online and everything in my feed that apparently he's got a pretty little nasty gash there on his head from getting headbutted by a cow.
Sure, it wasn't a driving accident.
No. I don't think Ollie Gordon, the second whatever, was driving him to McDonald's or anything like that, But yeah, a headbutt from a cow. I don't know what goes on in Stillwater. Apparently, not a lot.
Not a whole lot.
Yeah, that's
Didn't-
that's why you get headbutted by a cow.
Up close and personal with Cal there. So yeah, I'm going to go with BYU minus 9 points. Chocolate milk for everybody in Provo.
Probably a fat
After that
co-ed. It's Eskimo Joe's.
Whew, there you go. All right, so then moving over to my pick here. It was a joke I was going to make coming out of this, but I decided not to. Going to my pick here, we got Florida State at Duke. This is not a basketball line. The Blue Devils favored by 3 over under 42.5 tomorrow, 7 p.m. on ESPN2. Got a stat for you here. Do you know Florida State's all-time record against Duke in football?
Probably like 42-2. I don't know.
Chris?
Let's see. They've been in the ACC
Since
so
91.
probably 25-4.
22-0. 22-0. They have never lost to Duke on the gridiron there. Blue Devils, their defense, they're stingy. They got 10 takeaways on the season, 5 picks, 5 fumble recoveries. Florida State has fumbled. Right. It is right. Florida State.
They've only played 22 times.
Remember, in the expanded ACC, you could go years without seeing someone, especially with Atlantic and Coastal. Remember, Virginia and NC State went a long time without seeing each other.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt. Okay.
Oh, you're good.
Carry on.
Yeah, 22-0 all time against them. Duke's D, 10 takeaways on the year, 5 picks, 5 fumble recoveries. Florida State has put the ball on the turf 11 times this year, but they've only lost 2. So you got a team that fumbles the ball and a team that's a little bit of a ball hawkish there. Florida State has 7 picks on the year. Now, 6 of those DJU is responsible for. Obviously, he's no longer under center. Another key for me here, besides the turnovers, Florida State's D, they give up about 4.4 yards a carry. Duke running back Star Thomas, the New Mexico State transfer, look at the bounce back after just 46 yards on the ground and that loss at Georgia Tech. Prior to that, he had 3 straight 100-yard plus games, and he's averaging about 4.5 yards a carry. Duke head coach Manny Diaz, by the way, 1995 graduate of Florida State. I did not know that somehow. I learned that when I was doing my research for this game. I'm going to take Duke minus 3 points at home against the Noles. That D is too good. I think Florida State's making some improvements with Brock under center right now offensively, but the Duke students are responding. I think it's going to be a great atmosphere tomorrow night in Durham. I like what Manny Diaz is doing. They're tough. They're physical. They run the ball well. It's definitely a new day in Durham for Duke football. And it goes back to what Mike Elko started. I think you're seeing Manny take the baton and keep on going with it, which I don't think a lot of people saw. So I like Duke minus the 3 points here.
Yeah, this is gross. I actually think I might bet Florida State plus the 3 just because it just looks too weird seeing Duke favored. I don't know. They haven't been terrible against the run when they beat Cal, who's like one of the better running teams in the ACC.
Was Jay not back for that game?
I'm not. I think he might have been there, but he might have been.
He was
just
limited.
Coming back. Yeah. Regardless, they're still a good running team. They beat Miami, so should have beat Miami. Anyways,
I was going to say, allegedly.
It's gonna be an ugly game. DJ Uagalele, I think I'm saying that right, or just ukulele for short.
Is he back playing again?
No.
Beck is back.
Okay.
Yeah. So is it Beck? What's his name again? Who's the quarterback?
Is Brock? Oh my God, Brock Glenn, right?
Yes,
some white guy.
You got there. Yeah, one of those very white names. 2 white names. Can't trust a guy with 2 first names, but he's still better than DJU. Addition by subtraction. I don't know. Give me a 3 points.
Okay, Chris.
Over 42.5.
Really? Okay, over 42.5. All
right.
That. So to recap on the college picks, I got Duke minus the 3 points here. Scotty, you went with the Purdue Oregon game. You took the over 60.5. And then Chris, on your college game, Oklahoma State and BYU, You got the Pokes plus the 9 points in Provo.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Pokes plus 9 in Provo. And then, of course, join us right back here Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Let's Not Do This Doing Lines podcast. We'll break down some more lines for college football and National Football League. You guys ready to get out of here on some non-sports stuff?
Yeah,
Sure.
we'll do that. Let's do that. The sheriff story.
Yeah. All right, weird news brought to you by nobody. If you would like to sponsor this, send us an email at hit us up or info at let's not do this podcast.com, and we can stick your logo on top of that car that's going to be transported somewhere into Elon Musk land. All right.
Or if any of our friends want to give us like whatever a week, we'll just put your face up here.
Yeah.
That's very true. That's very true. It doesn't have to be corporate sponsorships. You could be a corporate champion of the show yourself. Hey, you got a small business? Are you making empanadas out of your backyard? You want to sell them?
Oh, I love backyard empanadas.
Let us know. You're cleaning houses? Let us know. If you want to pay us money to disparage Chris and we can have a little banner running on that in the sponsored segment, we can do that for you too. Whenever you got it, we need it. I'm your pusher, baby. Let's go. All right. So moving to some stuff here that's non-sports. When's the last time you guys went to Burger King?
I picked up from there the other day.
Okay.
So that's the closest place to my work. I actually went there for the first time in quite a while. I went there 2 days ago, 3 days ago. What's today?
Last time?
Thursday?
Last time I went to Burger King was when we went to the casino.
Oh, wow. That was a while ago. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this. When you have gone to Burger King, have you had any order issues? Do you get your order correctly? Have you ever had to send it back? Any issues where you maybe have to contact a manager or anything of that nature?
No, I'm not a Karen.
So I usually
just take what I can get.
Yeah, we'll have to get the order
slow.
wrong.
Then I eat the food that's given to me.
Okay.
The thing about Burger King, no matter how many cars are in line, they're going to take forever. But they usually get my order right. I don't think they've ever messed up my order that I can remember.
Okay. Well, this story making the rounds. This is from 11 Alive in Atlanta there, which I'm familiar with TV stations and call letters and everything. I don't know if I still haven't figured out why this one is 11 Alive, because if you're east of the Mississippi, it's usually a W something, except for a couple stations in Pittsburgh. And then if you're west of the Mississippi, your station starts with K, like KTLA. I don't know how 11 Alive came, but I don't know. Apparently there was a cop there in Cobb County, Georgia. So suburban Atlanta there. Sheriff called the sheriff called his deputies for backup to Burger King to get the manager's phone number. Apparently this happened in March of 2023 and just kind of coming out now. Sheriff Craig Owens Sr. didn't get the right order at Burger King. He had an encounter there with the staff. Apparently they locked the doors, wouldn't let him in. He asked the deputies to go inside and ask for the name of the manager and the owner. The deputies went up to the restaurant's door. The employees had it locked. Once inside, the deputies spoke with the assistant manager on staff, who claims that his supervisor wasn't there. The assistant manager went on to say that the reasoning for the precaution is they sometimes have an unsafe situation where customers get upset and come in the store, or they get followed and everything like that. This sheriff was not in his uniform, so they probably just thought he was, Joe Blow customer. And that's also what the sheriff said, why he called backup. I want to know what the order was. What pissed you off so much that you felt it was necessary to call backup? Why not just go to the app and complain? And they're going to give you like a free fry or a free Whopper or something if you go in the app and complain. Was it really that serious?
No. No matter what he got, it's not that serious. And he must have made it sound like something was going on, because I saw on another news station or whatever that the cops were had their sirens on and were blowing through red lights.
Yeah.
All kinds of stuff to get there. And then they get there and you're like, I just want the manager's name, is what the sheriff, he was like, I just want their name. They won't give me their name. I just want to file a complaint. And obviously he must have not been very nice for them to lock the doors. My favorite part of the whole story is the person that released the video was the guy running against him for a sheriff this year. So
That
he's
is
been
my
holding on to this
favorite.
story. Yeah, it's amazing. But I mean, then the sheriff, the guy that called, he said, "I was just a citizen. I wasn't on duty, so I'm a citizen at this point, and citizens have the right to call the cops if somebody gets their order wrong." Is what he said. I don't know if it was word for word, but that's what he said in a nutshell. Like, if every time you got an incorrect order at a fast food place, if everybody called the cops for that, they would need a separate police department just for that, because that would happen. It's happening right now somewhere.
Oh, sadly, it happens a ton. I watch that show On Patrol that comes on Reels where they follow the police departments around at least once a week and that show's on from 9 to midnight Eastern, Friday and Saturday. At least once
Yeah.
a show, they're called to some sort of restaurant or fast food establishment, and someone's got the wrong order and they want them to remake it, and they don't want to remake it, or they don't have a receipt or whatever it may be, and they call the cops. And the cops always says, "You got to go to the manager. You got to take it up with corporate. This is not a criminal matter. This is not a police issue. We can't do anything for this. If you get the wrong burger, if they give you a chicken sandwich instead of a Whopper, you do not call the cops." And this guy should have known better. And
But what, like you said, what could he have ordered and then gotten instead that would be that much of a difference at a Burger King?
listen, the only thing I'm calling the cops for if I'm in a fast food restaurant over my order is if I go to take a bite and there's a hypodermic needle syringe where someone was shooting up in the back in my burger, maybe I call the cops then. But that's about it. Maybe if I go to open my fries or something and there's a little baggie of a white substance in there, I'll probably call the cops then, sure. But if I got a Whopper,
You're not calling the cops for that.
I don't want it. I'm not going to jail. If I got a Whopper Junior instead of a Whopper, I'm not calling the cops. Chris, you spend a lot of time in fast food restaurants, usually looking for change. Have you ever encountered this, or would you ever call the cops over a fast food order?
Fuck no. I'm not a pussy. And I'm not a Karen. I'm not calling the cops. First of all, what the
Yeah, it's a crapshoot, man.
I'm holding back so many thoughts that just y'all will get mad at me for sharing. But yeah, let's just move to the next story.
All right. So
it's a crapshoot going through a drive-through anywhere. Sometimes you'll get an extra nugget. Sometimes they miss half of your order and don't give you a straw. It's what it is.
Sounds like you're a little salty about the straws there.
I do get that would piss me. You could forget my burger. I could order a burger and not give me the burger, and I would get more mad if you forgot to give me a straw.
Yeah, because those cups are too flimsy. It's not good. It's not good to drink out of.
You just got to do what my wife does. In the driver's side door of my wife's car, I think she's got that little pouch area or whatever in the driver's side door. She probably has 17 fast food straws. She's just prepared for them to not give her a straw.
Yeah.
So she just loads up there.
Is the smartest person in your relationship, so
debatable. Book smarts usually.
Long shot.
All right. Well, someone that wasn't smart. Stadentallendorf, Germany. I'm pretty sure I pronounced that wrong. They had a new firehouse. Now, that firehouse, not the restaurant, but the actual fire station, opened up about 10 months ago. And apparently that fire station has now burned. And did you guys know what the fire station did not have?
A fire extinguisher.
Well, you know what?
Read the story. I missed this one.
That would have been good, but and can you see this here? Is it showing up? Okay, that's the damage there that you can see from the fire station. They did not have fire detectors in their smoke alarms in the bay of the station that opened 10 months ago there. The city decided to not put them in the bay, a decision made by the city as it is a municipal building. There is no legal requirement for a fire alarm system in a fire station, according to a inspector.
I know what they're doing.
What's that?
I can see that. I totally believe that. Oh, I know where Chris is going, but I was just going to say, have you met a lot of German people? I'll let Chris make his thought. I know what he's gonna say. Have you met a lot of German people?
No,
They don't
what?
give a shit about smoke detectors, fire detectors.
Christopher?
They're like, oh,
I'm
there's a
trying
fire.
to
I don't
behave
need.
so bad. I'm trying to behave.
Okay.
Oh, no, now I know where you're going. I was thinking of something else. Now I know where you're going. Yeah,
That
you
is
keep that one to yourself.
Yeah, go ahead and take a Kaepernick on that one, sir. I just look of all you would think a fire. These are the guys that go. Don't like fire departments, at least in America. Don't they like give out?
Why couldn't
free-
they fucking put it out?
Well, I'd imagine they were
They probably
probably
weren't there.
out in the fire somewhere else.
The trucks were there.
Maybe not all the trucks. I don't know how big of a fire department this was or when it happened. Maybe it's a volunteer fire department. Maybe the guys.
Superior German engineering we got going on over there.
The total damage is estimated, by the way, to be between 20 and 24 million euros. The fire station, which only opened in January of 24, was considered a showcase project in the district. It had the latest technology, a 23-meter high training tower,
No, they
and
didn't.
energy-efficient facilities. The cause of the fire is still unclear. Thankfully, no one was injured there. It took about 170 firefighters to put out the fire, and this is something that happened yesterday morning there. So, yeah,
That's the inside job.
You think so? You think it was arson?
I mean, even if you don't have fire detectors, like your job is to prevent and put out fires. Like, I'm pretty sure you're not gonna have some kind of fire hazard out. I don't know. I think maybe a disgruntled employee.
Okay.
But it is Germany, so maybe a couple of drunk guys were fucking around and things got out of hand.
That was a burning of the Reichstag joke I was going to make, but I decided to go ahead and leave that one alone. The Reichstag. You don't know World War II history?
It's not as bad as Chris's joke was going to be.
You're so stuffed up. Your pronunciation just
my pronunciation.
You can't say German words.
I thought you said rice dog.
No, I said Reichstag.
That's not what you said first.
Yeah, right. Well, that's true. I am like at death's door. All right, one more thing before I get out of here. Before we get out of here, Chris, you spend more time than any of us at fast food places, and you.
I don't think I spend more time there than you.
No, you do. You do. Between your job and just general Christmas, I think you do. And I imagine, and I've been in the fast food situations with you, and you're usually looking for the dollar menu item or the cheapest item on the menu. And so I think this app would benefit you well. Taco Bell on their app, they now have a feature where, like Priceline, you can name your own price. Taco Bell is taking that step further where you can name your price tool on the app for diners on a budget.
Good.
So how this works here, as they're showing knives and everything here that I have in my browsing history, I thought there was more under it. Hey, Montana Knife Company, they're very good, but they're very expensive. Anyway, so they would name your price tool intended to help customers stay within reach of the budget by suggesting menu items based on a preset dollar amount. So you can go there and input a dollar amount between $5 and $25. And then you pull it down like on the app, and it reloads and gives you a list of items that you can buy for that set dollar amount that you want to spend. Now, taxes and fees and tips and all that stuff are added on later. But if you go in there and say, hey, I got $7 that I want to spend, it'll give you the list of what you can buy for that $7. What do you guys think about this?
Fucking awesome, because Taco Bell has gotten out of control price-wise.
Yeah,
every combo is at least $8 to $12.
You used to be able to have $5 and get a feast.
Yeah, I mean,
$5. Not $5, maybe
39-cent fucking tacos.
Yeah. Those 39-cent tacos would have you like on the toilet for like 3 weeks.
Yeah, I'm okay with that
that hasn't changed.
I got 30 of them, and I can eat them throughout the week.
The quality of Taco Bell has gotten a lot better. I will give them credit for that. I can actually taste like beef in the ground beef now. Before, I think it was horse, maybe seahorse. I don't know.
Not.
But it was not beef.
It was beef and oatmeal.
So
what it is.
It was a horse and the horse's dinner.
They use oatmeal as a binder.
Yeah.
And a filler.
But no, that is a pretty genius idea, though. More places should do that.
Yeah.
I
But yeah,
definitely
it's
like that.
when's the last time you've been to Taco Bell, Leon? Because
I
we
would-
always talk about it when we go to the bar and then we never go.
It's because you usually want to get a $38 pack of cigarettes. We don't wind up at Wawa. Yes. But no, I went to Taco Bell maybe 2 weeks ago. Maybe.
What'd you get? And how much did you spend?
I had rewards that I cashed in, and there was a Tuesday deal thing. So I think I spent like $3. But I got a lot of food.
How much would you have spent?
Probably it's going to be about $10-12, which is about going rate for fast food. I went to Cookout this evening.
It's outrageous.
With my lovely bride, and I think the total was like $17-18 for our Cookout.
Fucking outrageous. Cookout should be $5. Period.
Them's the breaks, man. I don't know where you're eating at these days. That's like not expensive.
I'm eating at home. I'm eating fucking frozen dinners for $3 a pop.
There we go. There we go.
Peanut butter sandwiches.
Scotty, was there any story you wanted to get to before we get out of here? As we
I just wanted
in our pre-show.
The Burger King one was good enough for me. That sheriff is not going to win his reelection.
Oh,
God, I hope not.
Last thing here.
How many Karens are in the community there? He might.
Last thing, I did want to hit this one thing real quick. We don't have to talk about it a lot, but I did want to get to this. Al Roker, by the way, lost a ton of weight. Apparently, he's been cooking a lot at home. He's got a dish. Al Roker's sweet potato poon. Sweet potato poon. What do you think is in sweet potato poon?
I don't know, but he's been on TV longer than the Attitude Era, so he should know what this means.
I mean, it looks like a sweet potato casserole, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know, but does it have a list of what's in here? Here we go. Prep 20 minutes, cook time 45. 3 pounds of sweet potatoes peeled and cut. You got some 8 tablespoons of butter. Damn. 1 cup of brown sugar. Is that where the poon comes from? 3/4 of a cup of flour.
I was waiting to see something pink.
2 tablespoons of baking powder. 1.5 cup of kosher salt. Let's see, some cinnamon, some nutmeg, allspice, crushed pineapple. Now,
what?
Al Roker should know. Al Roker's part of the black community. And listen, I'm part of the black community. And I know y'all try to take my card away. People have over the years. We don't put pineapple in sweet potato casserole. So
that might be where the poon. That might be where the poon comes from.
Yeah, and then a bag of marshmallows there, in the sweet potato poon. Chris, are you going to make this for Thanksgiving?
No. Why is there pineapple in this dish?
I don't
That's
know.
the poon part. That's where the poon comes from. The girl eats it.
Also,
and then,
I don't
things
like marshmallows on my sweet potatoes or yams. Not a fan. Never been a fan.
I'm not big into any of that stuff. Sweet potatoes, yams.
I love sweet potatoes, but I don't like the marshmallow. I don't need the marshmallow.
Thanksgiving, I want the booze and I want the turkey and a little bit of stuffing. Put the game on, shut the hell up, and get out of my way. That's all I want.
We're like 5 weeks away or something like that.
Oh, it's glorious.
Jesus Christ.
I'll make Big O's big
6
time
weeks.
spatchcock
5 weeks,
turkey.
6 weeks.
Once again, it's a family
What?
favorite. Big O's
Cock turkey.
big time spatchcock turkey. It's my Thanksgiving specialty.
Can you call it something else?
You spatchcock the turkey.
The poon turkey.
You know what spatchcock is?
Oh, you keep saying it.
You cut.
You've said
cut
it 3
the turkey.
times. Is a spatchcock gonna show
I'm
up?
pretty sure we had a conversation about this last year.
Really?
And it's funny every time. Yeah.
Maybe, but yeah, when you spatchcock the turkey, you cut it, and so
Stop.
it's like all spread out.
Stop saying
It cooks quicker,
You cock the fucking turkey, man.
and it
You
cooks
spatch
more,
it, and then you cock it.
and it cooks more evenly.
like American
Here.
Pie Thanksgiving.
If I can get that there, I don't know why we know these ads here on my screen. There we go, spatchcock turkey. Look at that.
Yes, spread eagle.
Spatch it, then you cock it.
There we go. And then you finish it off with some poon. All
You
right.
absolutely finish it off.
Scotty, hit that music. Get us the hell out of here.
Whoa.
God damn it.
The way you said that was weird.
Uh,
Wait,
Boston
go Guardians.
College
God
is,
damn it.
Boston College is winning.
I live bet the Guardians when
they're
they were
not.
down 1-0, and they've been up the whole time, and now
Boston
the Yankees
College
are up
losing.
4-3.
Well, here's to
Yeah.
both of you. Here's to both of you going to bed upset and losing your money. Make sure to join us
I don't have any bets.
Saturday morning, 9 a.m. for Doing Lines. We'll see you then. Chris sucks. Scotty.
See ya.